Oh, someone's bigger than you, Zangief. What you gonna do now? Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to Arcane Season 2. We are now at episode 6, which is called The Message Hidden Within the Pattern. There we go. I gotta think this has got to do with Hex Tech because we know that the wild runes were definitely a topic of discussion earlier in the season. So last episode, we found out for certain that the beast is Vander. The two girls figured out where he is, and it looks like they're having a happy reunion. Mel is being slowly mentally tortured wherever the Black Rose has her, but we now know that she's got some kind of pretty amazing power that they think was important enough to kidnap her for. And the mad scientist is back at it, and he's trying to find Jace now that he's got the backing from Mbessa and Caitlyn. And was that it? Oh, and Jace is back, and he is all about the hammer time. Can't touch this. So I'm ready to jump into this episode and see what is what. Hopefully we'll get to see Echo and Heimerdinger and figure out what happened to them in this episode. So let's jump in, but just before I do, a reminder that if you'd like to be in the know of when I release these episodes, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now. Where is this? Do we want to know?
I see it now.
Being touched by the arcane.
I'm sorry too.
What is that? Who is that? Okay, Omniscient Victor, what the hell is this shit?
That isn't Jace. There is another will at work within him.
I thought I heard.
Flawless. Exquisite.
What is happening?
Chaos.
What is Victor? Dead serious. And actually that very much is your friend. You don't know what Jace has been through. You're not Victor anymore. That's the real thing that we need to talk about. Because where are you right now? Where are you floating? What are you smoking?
Bending your environment to your will.
Mbessa's such a badass.
Too much force exposes you to risk.
Indeed.
Ooh, this double entendre conversation.
Mages. Absent honor. Absent accountability.
Are you praying, bro? Ooh.
Tunnels in your eyes. Lava in your veins. Shadows in your heart. I've discovered a fourth principle. One that heightens all others.
This literally got an 8-pack going on.
The temper born of suffering. We understand it as others cannot. We are kin.
Thank you's like, huh? What about your real daughter?
Let's hunt a beast.
This was gonna get messy. You don't look good, sir. He doesn't look good at all. I don't think he's gonna last regardless, guys. But that could be because, you know, Vi punched him really hard.
I hoped you might return.
You filthy traitor.
Exactly.
But the Herald has freed me of
Not
my
the
past
Herald,
self.
Oh God.
I must ask you to surrender your weapons. This is a place of peace.
Except for the fact that he's a weapon, Victor. What are you gonna do? Shut up, please, girl. She put something in her pocket. She took the Hex Tech ball out, didn't she? Isha's a problem. He's a little jittery.
He's expecting you.
This thing just looks like a giant Hex Tech pus bubble, I'm not gonna lie. Ooh, this again. Poster. He's like, I said people. Specifically, what is this? What did you bring me? Don't bite. I mean, at least if you can feel his mind, that might help. Oh, Vader, how you doing, bro? He said get out. Not that simple with this one, huh?
You once told me all systems have limits.
And this isn't Hex Tech.
He is worth the risk.
Interesting. I wonder what the beast represents. Curious.
Vander's psyche is deeply entangled with that of the beast. In the vision of Zone, as it could have been, it was beautiful.
A cookie.
I will do all in my power. However, I have one condition.
Here it is.
Looks like you got a couple.
Yeah.
You have much to offer this commune, Powder.
What do you think?
You actually
That's why she
want my opinion?
asked.
We're gonna get you out of there, Vander.
Can you? Especially if the beast is tied to his survival. I don't know. Damn, that's a lot of demons. All right, into the mouth. Into the mouth of the devil? You better hope you don't clamp down. It would take time though, because God knows all the things that, what's his face, the doctor put him through. We know he tortured him too, so. Oh, there he is. Gently. This visual is insane. Oh, there's your dad. It just hit me that their mom's hair is purple, and when you mix pink and blue together, you get purple.
I remember Mom's smell the most.
Axel grease. What if we stayed? Help them out?
The fact that Vi is not wearing a top. Just bandages.
No weapons. I'm afraid the Herald insists.
Do you think they care? Bye.
I believe this herald may be a former pupil of mine, a man of science. Let me speak with him.
Look at Caitlin looking to destroy all of this. How dare they be happy?
I should like to meet this herald.
He's not gonna work for you, sis. You literally have nothing he wants.
Your power is finite, diminished by every use. What I wouldn't give to glimpse the world through your eyes.
How about we back up? Never.
Quest that he must stray of any trodden path. His own shadow dissolved to darkness.
The more one understands, the more one realizes the vastness of his
No
ignorance.
truer words.
Do you believe in fate, Doctor?
Ooh, a voice.
But he isn't a specimen. He's a man, and he needs my help. You may leave.
Get out! He said.
If you perish, this community is soon to follow.
Yep. I don't know if following him's a good idea when you don't have your gauntlets, girl.
Here, like where I landed when this rich, unhinged mongoose just tackled me.
Mongoose? Your hair. You look like an angry oil slick.
Whatever.
We tracked some sort of new chem weapon down here. A bloodthirsty, murderous beast.
Here we go again.
What are you doing here?
Trying to save my dad.
Once again. It's just never meant to be between you two, man.
Yes?
Starting to realize you're not actually in charge yet. Oh, jeez. You're not okay, bro. You still glitching? Or are you okay now? Nope. What the hell is that? Oh. I mean, let's face it. In another light, she probably would love it. She seems like that kind of freak. We'll see whether or not my girl Caitlin actually does something smart.
Ever since you dropped into my life, it's like I put on glasses. Except I can't tell whether everything's blurry or clear.
I owe you thanks. Your absence provided a vacuum I was able to fill. You caused too many complications.
Do I?
He told me if I wanted it, there were only 3 things I needed to do.
And the third?
Just shut the fuck up.
Ooh! It's true. You let someone arrogant talk long enough.
And luck and
A big distraction.
It's true. Vi and handcuffs have never gotten along
don't underestimate Ambessa.
at all. Ooh! No, Ambessa! I'm sorry, girl, but you was getting a little cocky. Oh, now Jace is gonna come in and literally mess everything up.
I won't fail.
Oh, Jace, baby, are you okay? Oh. Maybe we need to take that thing out of your wrist. Oh, wow. The gem is different. It's not blue anymore. The way all their eyes have changed the same color is super weird. Not gonna lie. Oh, no, no. Don't lead him to Victor. Don't do that. Not with that thing. His weapon has changed, I just realized. Anyone want to take that away from him, please? No? Okay. Okay. That's creepy.
Your death will be a deep cut.
Not the wink. Zangief versus Jinx, make it happen! Zangief's not a joke, though. It's absorbing. You might want to get out of the way. Ooh, that shimmer is turning out to be very helpful. Damn, I told you to cut that hair, girl. Yeah, you're not gonna hurt his baby. Oh, someone's bigger than you, Zangief. What you gonna do now?
Touch my daughter.
Yeah, it talks. Peace out. Those are teeth going in that glass. Oh my god, that's amazing camera work. You okay, Boo Bear? It's complicated, Kate. Damn, that lifelong friendship about to end like this. Oh, I don't like this. What's gonna happen? I don't like this slow-mo in this music. Bye, Victor. Ah, this is what we saw at the beginning. And then he was holding the... Okay, we had a flashback, or flash forward, and now we're gonna see the cog. Great, and you killed them all. Oh no. I was afraid it maybe broke Daddy.
Vander.
He's gone. And it's Jace's fault this time. This looks so painful. Thank you. Your ass should have stayed unconscious. Bye, Zangief. I would feel for you, bud. Those people are already dead, so... Oh, God. What a mess.
Rage, compassion, hate.
Oh. No, I don't think Vander's surviving this one. I'm sorry. But at least you got a few minutes. I knew she stole it. Oh, we about to lose Isha. Come on now. One thing you can't say about Isha is she's no punk. That kid's got bravery in spades. Not a lot of sense, but a lot of bravery. Yeah, so if anything happens to her, you know that Jinx is never, ever, ever gonna be okay with peace, right? Two? Oh, honey, no. She took one out of each gauntlet. Oh my god. The kickback. Not her talking for the first time.
Is also the cause of our greatest evil.
That's how you end it? Oh my god. Yeah, I think it's safe to say she probably didn't survive that. Oh, Isha. Ugh. That is sad. But you know, it's from the second she literally fell into Jinx's lap, that girl has just looked at her as everything. That has been her everything, and she's wanted to protect her. And again, like I said, it's a couple episodes, or no, last episode, I think I was saying that it's interesting that Jinx has always had people want to protect her. Something about her draws people who want to protect her, no matter what. Even with all the crazy stuff she does, there's always someone who's got her neck, or got her back, trying to save her neck. And same thing with Isha. Isha, you know, we didn't know much about her, but you know, she clearly idolized Jinx. Idolized her, thought she was the best thing ever, followed her everywhere, wanted to do everything, be just like her. And I thought it was interesting in this episode that Jinx said, you know, since I've met you, it's like I put on glasses. And I was saying a couple episodes ago that I was hoping that her being around this little girl would start to help her understand more of what it is to care for someone versus being cared for. Because a lot of the viewpoints that Jinx has always had have been based on someone who's been cared for and has the luxury of having issues with the things she has issues with. And don't get me wrong, a lot of the things she had a problem with were valid, but I was saying that she had so little empathy for Vi's journey and what Vi's had to go through, and the position Vi was often in because of her. Again, a lot of what Jinx did when she was powder was not, you know, intentional as far as being a problem, but it didn't lessen the strain it often put on both Vi and Vander. But anyways, now that she had this little girl, this little charge, I think that she was finally starting to see now a bit of like, oh, I'm starting to understand a bit more about like what it is to care for someone and how it drives you to do things that you probably wouldn't do otherwise, and how it changes the decisions that you make, right? When you don't have no one to care for, you're a lot more reckless. When there's someone you actually care about and want to protect, you make different decisions. And so anyway, we see that in this episode that they decided to bring Vander to Victor, hoping that Victor could fix at least his mind, right? The body, I think, is gone. I don't know if Victor could have brought him back to human form after all the stuff that, what is his name? I always forget the name that he has down there, but I'm just going to call him the doctor. You know, to change what he did. And we see that Victor was trying to, but I don't know, it's because he's already expended so much of his energy healing all the people that were in his little village, or if it was because like Sky was telling him that there are limits to what he's able to do. But she said with every healing that he did, he became slightly weaker, and the mad scientist said the same thing. He's like, you're not as powerful as when you first came down here, so you are. And it's true, it looks like his energy was being dispersed. Like it wasn't like he was creating a new form of hex tech in these people. He was literally taking pieces of what he had in his body, it looks like, and giving them to each person he healed. And hex tech basically did its own thing in that body, but it was powered by Victor. And that would also explain why he was getting more drained, because imagine, it's like, it would have been one thing to keep himself going, but to keep himself and what looked like at least 100 people going as well, like that's a lot of energy. That's a lot. But you know, it's interesting the way that he was, the way they depicted how he kind of, even though he had a physical body, he had this way of kind of just being like outside of it, where he was like in this almost omnipotent view with Sky. It reminded me a lot of Dr. Manhattan from The Watchmen, like kind of the way that he would be in so many places at once, but also like focused on whatever he was at, where he was currently. And I think with Victor, he couldn't necessarily do all of that, but the hex tech was definitely allowing him to be able to tap into any of the people that he touched with it, but also obviously be focused within his own body. But we heard him say last episode that Jace is not himself. himself. Like whatever Jace is doing, he's doing it because somebody else is telling him to. And we see that Jace has got a jewel. Remember, there's that jewel we saw him get last season, which was whatever the arcane mage was that saved him and his mom from dying in that blizzard. He gave Jace a little crystal, which was inert for all intents and purposes last season. But now it's not only active, but it looks like it's embedded in his hand, and it doesn't look like it was a painless process. So my guess is that something, wherever he was taken when he was absorbed, I'm assuming absorbed by the hex tech, that something put that thing in Jace and sent him on a mission to destroy all the hex tech and anyone who was a herald of it. That'd be the right word, because that's exactly what they were calling Victor, the herald. So I agree that it wasn't fully Jace. Like, I do think that Jace is different. That's one thing Victor couldn't, because I mean, he didn't, I think if he had a chance to touch Jace, he would have had an idea. But I do think that Jace is not the same Jace he remembers. We don't know what the heck happened to him when he was gone for a year, but it doesn't look like it was an easy ride. Whatever it was, it took a lot out of him. But also, I think that crystal is definitely influencing him, because the Jace we know, even if he felt like Hextech was the worst thing ever, the Jace we know would never just mow down his best friend like that. Like, he just wouldn't do it, right? He probably would have tried to talk to him or try to talk Victor into giving up the Hextech or doing something, but just to take him out in cold blood is not Jace. So anyways, we see that Victor, back to what Victor was trying to do here with Vander. He was trying to fix somebody's leg. The Beast and Vander are very tightly entwined. Like, I don't know that I can pull them apart, but I'm going to try. And they were like, try it, right? And like, we hear that Sky warned him that this might be the thing that ends up taking the last of his hex magic basically out of him. But he thought it was worth the risk, because that's all Victor ever wanted to do, right? He only ever wanted to use hex tech to help people. He never wanted to use it for weaponry. He wanted it as a way to help people that otherwise had no access to the help they needed, right? And as somebody who'd grown up his whole life sick, of course, the idea of being able to heal people back to health was a dream come true for him, right? So anyways, we see that he tried to do that. And in the meantime, the girls were there, and we see that, unfortunately, as I said last episode, the mad scientist wants to find Vander because he felt like whatever was in Vander's blood was the catalyst to help him get the formula he's been working on for years. So he tried to talk to Victor first, but Victor basically was like, yeah, I know you. I already know the way your mind works. And the answer shortly is that no, I'm not going to sacrifice Vander, just so that you can get your scientific whatever. And we see that because because the mad scientist touched him, Victor saw everything. He knew exactly the motivation behind what the mad scientist was doing, what he was doing. But interestingly, he didn't choose to use it against him in any way. And I'm not sure what he'll do with that information. But anyway, he basically tells him no, like, I know. Even though he knew the reason why he wanted to do it, he was like, nah, it's not going to work. And interestingly, he kind of said to him, like, why are you willing to do all these things, when you know it's hurting people, basically. And we hear the scientist basically tell him, this is what man does. It doesn't matter what you're thinking. This peace you think you're creating is not going to last. Like, there's always going to be another obstacle. There's always going to be something. And in the end, it comes down to man is always the person in their own way when it comes to these things, right? But Victor was like, yeah, well, I'm still going to try. So he dismisses him. But of course, Ambessa is there, and Ambessa not only wants Vander for whatever that might help her with, but she of course wanted Victor, right? She didn't know that the herald was Victor at that point, but if she'd found out, she definitely would have tried to capture him, because she wants someone who knows how to use hex tech. We know that already. But anyway, they were camped out to do a battle, and we see that Vi sees the scientist, and she gets suspicious, tries to follow him, gets stopped by Caitlin, and my guess is that's the first time the two of them have seen each other, probably since they broke up. And obviously, feelings are still there on both parts, and Vi tells her that she's there because she's trying to help Vander, and thankfully Caitlin helps her. I was wondering whether or not Caitlin would think, well, that's not my problem, but I think that Caitlin is very war weary at this point. Like we saw earlier in the episode, she was fighting with Ambessa, which was cool. Ambessa's so cool. Like, why is she so evil? Could she be so cool? But anyway, we see that they have this fight, and Ambessa's trying to instill all these lessons into her about how it's all about force and power and assertion and aggression. And Caitlin's like, I just don't think that's true. Like, I think too much force is also a bad thing. Like, you're telling me I'm too passive. I'm telling you you're too aggressive. But anyway, in the end, I think that Caitlin is kind of done with this warmongering. I think she's realizing she's crossing lines that she never thought she would. And again, for what purpose? In the end, she still didn't have Jinx. There's still all this civil unrest, and it's just an Ambessa has basically taken over everything. And I love that moment of when she walked in with her prisoner Vi, and she sees the conversation happening with the mad scientist Ambessa and Zangief, and you can tell, I love the way they set it up. She figured out immediately, like, I'm not really the one in charge here, right? Like, it was very much an you're interrupting conversation, right? She's supposed to be leading, right? She's supposed to be the military leader, which is the all-over leader of Piltover right now, right? Because they're under martial law. She's supposed to be the one who, she can never interrupt. You get my sense? You get what I'm saying? Like, she should not be able to interrupt anyone because she's supposed to be in the loop. And she was clearly interrupting. And the way Ambessa gave her a look like, girl, what are you doing here? And then dismissed Zangief, right? Like, I think that if it wasn't clear already, hopefully that was the wake-up call Caitlyn needed to realize that she's not in control of this and probably never has been, right? Like, her emotions took over, understandable in the beginning, but it's like, ma'am, I hope you know now that Ambessa this is her show now, and you're now fighting against her if you decide that you don't want to do this anymore. So anyway, we see that Caitlyn and Vi came up with a plan in order to basically get her dad out of there before the ambush was going to happen later. But unfortunately, there's only so much time, of course, that Vi was able to steal, but it was enough. And we see that Ambessa basically says to her that she told Vi that she respects her. Like, she knows Vi's no weakling. She said she's very resilient. She's like, yeah, at another time, I probably would have invited you to join my company. And I see it. Honestly, I'm like, Vi would actually fit in with the Noxians. She would. But anyways, she's like, but now she's like, that's not going to work. And also she's like, I want to get rid of you because you're a distraction for Caitlyn and I can't have her distracted. But little did Ambessa know that Caitlyn's, she gone, girl. She done gone, okay? I don't know what Vi has on them lips, but it's enough because Caitlyn is, even though she's been up with that little girl that's in her unit for how long now? Vi back for 2 minutes and she folded like a chair, so... Anyways, so that kicks everything off, and unfortunately, we see that back at the camp, there is an altercation because Zangief figures out that Caitlyn had betrayed Ambessa. Like, she took out the doctor, stopped the doctor from putting something in Vander that would have stopped anything Victor was going to do to bring his humanity back, and then Zangief interfered and almost killed her, but then Jinx came, and that was a really cool fight between Jinx and Zangief. It's really fun to see Jinx use that shimmer boost and speed that she has. It's really the only reason why, again, she might actually beat, if there ever comes a time that she beats Vi, it's going to be because of that shimmer boost. But that damn hair of hers, I've been saying, as much as I love it, it's a great look, not very good, because as fast as she is, that hair leaves a trail. She be gone 10 feet and the hair's still coming. So she might want to think of just shortening it a bit, just a bit. Anyways, yeah, that battle happened and Zangief at least gets knocked out, but it's knocked out by Vander, and it's beautiful because it's a moment of him protecting Jinx, which, as I said, everybody's always trying to protect Jinx, but honestly, like, she needed that, right? Jinx definitely needed that paternal energy a lot, and because you see she just kind of crumbles the second, and the way she kind of ran to him and she's like and even when Caitlyn woke up and was like, you, and she was just like, I'm with my daddy. The way she literally smirked her, like, what you gonna do? You try to come for me right now, my daddy gonna swipe your head off. Make a decision right now. Anyway, but yes, understandably, Caitlyn's a bit upset because now she knows that that Vi and Jinx are back on the same page to some degree because of their dad. So I'm not sure what she's thinking about it right now. Like you saw, she was kind of looking between them and kind of, especially when she saw them do the group hug, it kind of hit her that, okay, this is different, right? Because the last time she saw Vi, her and Jinx were not on the same page per se, but they were at least not close anymore or together. But now it's like they're back together because of this common thread of their dad. So I'm not sure how Caitlyn's gonna take that, but I really don't think Caitlyn a year ago wouldn't have cared. Like, that scene would have pissed her off and she would have probably still tried to take the shot at Jinx, but it's been a year of a lot, and I think she's had a lot of time to think, and also a lot of that initial raw emotion over her mom's death has probably dissipated a lot. My point being, I think at this point she doesn't necessarily want Jinx dead. I think she would more want Jinx to pay for what she did. At the beginning of all this, she would have wanted Jinx's head, right? So anyway, she witnesses that scene. We'll have to see what she does with that information in the next episode. But in the meantime, we see that Jace has managed to follow Victor all the way here. I'm wondering how he found Victor here because he squished. He literally Hulk smashed the one lead he would have had to Victor. But my guess is that something because the ball that's inside of Jace's new weapon has the same pattern as the hex tech that Victor keeps spewing all over like a web. So I'm thinking that it must have led him to Victor's camp somehow, because Jace has only been to the Undercity like one time. time. It's not like he knows his way around down there. So he must have been led there because of either the jewel on his hand or the weapon, one or the other. But he shows up, and unfortunately, like, you see he's glitching out bad. Like, he's having visions, and it looks like the splicing that we saw in the last episode when they touched in the first set of episodes when they touched the Hextech ball. And then we also hear over and over again, I won't fail again, I won't fail. And it sounds like Jace's voice, but I'm trying to think if we've heard that before. And if so, who he was talking to. I don't remember because it wasn't this season for sure. But I don't know. I don't know if he made that promise to somebody else or if that was something we missed. But either way, Jace is not in his right mind at all. And I don't know if, as I said, we keep seeing like the glitches and it looks like he kind of fades and comes back. I don't know if that's real. I don't know if that's actually happening to his body, or if that's just the way it's being perceived for him every time whatever it is pulling to him. So I'm curious as to what the state of Jace is, because yes, something's going on with him and we still have no more answers, to be perfectly honest, of what's going on with him. Is he here? Is he mostly here? Is he between two dimensions? Like, what is happening? So anyways, in the end, he ended up blasting Victor into oblivion, and yeah, he didn't look like he had an ounce of remorse about it, which is another reason I feel like that's not fully Jace in there. But then again, Jace might be thinking that that's no longer Victor. He might have thought that Victor that he knew died and that it's the Hextech that took over. But I feel like the both of them are actually in the same position. Like, I don't believe it was fully Victor either. I think Victor was in there. I think his consciousness was definitely in there. You know, the constant wonder and the desire to keep learning about the Hextech, that was very much Victor. But I also think the Hextech had its own agenda and it was also pushing it through Victor, personally. But maybe I'm wrong about that. But anyway, and also on Jace's side, I do think whatever this thing is in his wrist, as well as whatever's in that ball that's in his new weapon, I think that that is having an effect on Jace's mind as well, and that there is some of Jace in there, but there's also whatever this force is that's clouding his judgment. And clearly he's not okay if he's hearing things and seeing things, right? So yeah, unfortunately they both got touched by the arcane, but Victor seemed a little bit more sound in mind with his experience versus whatever Jace has gone through is far more violent apparently and a lot less friendly, and it looks like it's fractured his psyche to a degree. So whether or not that be fixed by the arcane being removed, I don't know. Victor is probably the only person who would have been able to do it too at this point. But anyway, Victor is gone. We literally saw the light go out of his eyes, and we see that everybody that he touched with the Hextech died too. Like, and slow, painful deaths from the sounds of things, unfortunately. It looks like everything just went at the same time. So yeah, unfortunately, that's where that's at. That whole beautiful, peaceful town, that utopia he tried to create, gone in a matter of seconds. And Jace doesn't care, obviously. I feel like he thinks anything that was touched by Victor is probably no longer salvageable anyway. But that's it. Jace basically after he did it, just decided to leave. And because there's so much chaos going on, I don't think anyone's gonna try to stop him, unfortunately. And of course, with the death of Victor, it looks like whatever effects he was able to put to calm Vander's mind were completely reversed, and it ended up just sending him violently in the wrong direction. Like, he was literally like spitting up lava. Don't ask me how that's possible, but homie literally turned into a demon bear, and yeah, to the point where he didn't recognize his kids anymore. So yeah, it just, of course, he took out Zangief, but that was Zangief's fault. Like, dumbass should have just played dead. I don't know. After you got your ass knocked out once by an iron giant, the right thing to do is to just, like, no one's gonna come for you. They don't know how hard you were hit. Just lay there till everything's over. Your dumb ass gets up and grabs your weapon. You wonder why you got ripped to shreds. I mean, sorry. You were cool, don't get me wrong. Very nice to look at visually, but dummy. You need a black friend. You were around that black woman all these years and you didn't know the place. I joke, I kid. Ambessa probably would have done the same thing. But anyway, of course, Ambessa shows up just in time to watch her right-hand man, who we clearly know that she has a bit of a emotional connection to, someone who's been with her at least since the beginning of this season. So she's upset, right? She's not been taking any W's for a minute here, right? Like, she lost her son, God knows how long ago. She lost everything back in her home world. She came here, and now she's lost her daughter. She almost lost her life when the Black Rose attacked her, and she can't find anyone to fix the Hextech. She lost the bear man thing now that she was going to try to learn something from. The scientist might even be dead at this point. He'll probably survive. It's so annoying, but he probably survived. And now her right-hand man is gone. So yeah, Bessa's taking a lot of L's. And you think of this many L's, she might stop and be like, I wonder if the path I'm taking is wrong. Maybe I need to reconsider this whole thing that I'm doing, because it's not working but no. Anyway, she reacted emotionally and she sent her army into this town. I mean, for what, honestly, because most of the people have died because Victor is dead, but obviously it wasn't for them. She wants to go after the bear. So yeah, Vander is definitely going to die. There was no coming out of that, I don't think. And then we see that Vander was rampaging, of course, with more and more people attacking him. The rage was getting worse, and unfortunately Jinx was knocked a bit out of it in front of him. And we see that Isha saw that if she didn't do something or someone didn't do something, there's a very good chance that Jinx was going to end up. Also, she knew that Jinx wasn't going to attack her dad, right? But Jinx was still, bless her, trying to get through to Vander. And so Isha decided to do what she often does, which is take initiative. And she had stolen the tech balls out of Vi's gauntlets. I saw her looking at it. I was like, oh damn, she grabbed them. Like, I like the way they showed in the show that she kind of, you see her looking at them and then you see her pushing something into her pouch. So yeah, she grabbed not one, but both of them and put all of them inside of Jinx's weapon, which already had one. And as soon as she did it, you see that Jinx knew immediately that that was not going to end well. And she knew it. The little girl knew, right? Isha knew that that was going to be the last thing she ever did. Like the way she looked, and you saw like the little tableau of the moments that her and Jinx spent together. I mean, it's only been a year, but clearly a very influential one in that little girl's life. And honestly, when you're that age, a year feels like forever. So it was huge. And that's how much she loved Jinx, is that she was willing to sacrifice herself. She felt like Jinx was more important than herself. And that level of selflessness from a child is kind of crazy. But anyway, she did what she felt she had to do to end it. And she knew that that was something that Jinx would never have had the heart to do. And probably not Vi either. So we ended the episode with that amazingly huge explosion, and then hearing Victor talk about how he understood the hex patterns now, and he understood what it was trying to tell them. And basically he just said, humans suck. To just sum up, the TLDR, humanity sucks. Like, on the one hand, we're capable of so much amazingness and beauty and just things that are so mind-blowingly amazing. And then on the other hand, we are capable of such vile, hateful, spiteful, terrible things as well. And often they are on the flip side of each other as far as a coin. And yeah, that is why this type of power is never typically a good thing in human hands. Because you see how Victor was trying to do something positive with it, even though I feel like there was still side effects he wasn't aware of. And then on the other side, you've got Mbessa and Jace who are using it for violence, right? So yeah, sad that he had that realization towards the end. But peace out, Victor. If you are in fact gone, I don't know, maybe he's not actually gone at this point. We don't know. His body is not completely human body anymore, so maybe it's something that can be revived if Hex Tech is introduced again. We'll have to see. But for now, bye, Victor. You were a very cool character, and I would have loved to see more of you in that, with that glowing eyes and the hood. Like, it was kind of a cool look, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that was the main things that happened in this episode. For our second act was crazy. Like, we're in the thick of it. Things are definitely in their downside, right? We're kind of where everything is not so great. This is the point where something hopefully positive might start to kick up, or it's just going to turn into something that's even worse. We'll have to see. But as I was saying before, the death of Isha to sacrifice herself for Jinx because of this army that came in and disrupted everything. Again, Jinx doesn't know at this point that the reason that her dad went crazy was because of Jace. But the point is, the military came running in and agitating him and everything else. Point being, I'm pretty sure Jinx is going to look at this as the point of no return when it comes to Piltover. There will be no peace on her watch. I'll be shocked if she feels like that. I feel like she's going to be to the point where she's like, all right, Ambessa wants this. She gonna get this. It's gonna be me and whoever down here. It feels like they're slighted against her and all of her people, and we gonna do this. And as I said before, Vi's got to pick a side. I mean, I don't think she can come back to the Piltover side now, because Mbessa's definitely not gonna let her back. But I'm thinking that maybe Caitlyn might have to stay, right? Because Mbessa doesn't trust Caitlyn anymore, and even though she was willing to kill her. She sent Zangief to kill her. So I mean, at this point, she definitely would have tried. I'm sure she would have just, said, oh no, Caitlyn died in battle or something like that. But yeah, I'm thinking it's going to become a wrestle for control. So yeah, Caitlyn might actually have to join the Undercity at this point, and they're going to have to work to overthrow Mbessa. That's what I'm thinking is going to possibly have to happen, because Mbessa is going to be super desperate now. She has lost, like I said, L after L after L since coming here, and she was already desperate to begin with. So I feel like at this point, it's going to be very messy. And if the scientist did survive, she is going to be putting him to work immediately immediately on how to basically wipe out as much of Zon as possible. Except I'm just trying to figure out, there's two things that are missing here. She still needs her hex tech. Like the scientist will help her, but he knows very little of hex tech. Like everything he's done has been stuff that's completely different than that. Like Shimmer, all that was pre-hex tech, and that's kind of his specialty. But Jace is still out here now. So my guess is Jace is gonna definitely go back to Piltover because that's where he thinks he belongs. And when he figures out that Mel's missing, if he even remembers Mel or cares about Mel, I have no idea what's going on with him. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to figure. I'm curious as to what Ambessa's next move will be, because she just wants a weapon that she can use, right? She's still into getting something out of all the time she's spent in this place. So she needs something. And I feel like Jace is pretty much all that's left right now that he's back, because she's lost. Like Heimerdinger's still out there. Mind you, he wouldn't work with her anyway. And now Victor's gone. So that leaves Jace. So yeah, I feel like she's going to try to pull Jace in, and in his crazy state, he might actually help her. But he wants to destroy Hex Tech. So I don't know. I don't know. Without knowing what's going on with Jace, it's a hard call, because Jace is saying to get rid of Hex Tech, but it's clearly literally in his veins right now and in his weapon. So we'll have to see what's going on with him in the final act. But yeah, I'm just kind of figuring out what's going to happen now. Like, I still think it's going to be, the war is going to continue. Caitlyn's probably going to have to defect to Zon in order to get her seat back and to get control of Piltover back, with the promise that when she gets back in power, she's going to end the war and end the suppression. And we're going to see Ambessa fight harder than she ever has to try to keep what she's got. And I don't know who she's going to pull in for that or how she's going to do it. And then we still need to see what's going to happen with my girl Mel. Is she, now that she's broken through and discovered new powers, is she going to become an agent of the Black Rose? Or is she going to actually break her way all the way out and manage to get her ass back home? And then what happens when she gets home? Does she go up against Mama? Does she try to fix her man? Like, what is her power? So many questions where that's concerned. And where, again, we saw nothing of Echo and Heimerdinger this episode. So curious as to what happened to them and if they are affected the way that Jace has been and whatever the journey is that they've been on. So this was a great second act, just as good as the first. This season is just eating. It is so good. I love it. I love it so much. It makes me so sad in one way that this is going to be it for this show. I really hope Netflix is already pooling their coins and all those increases they're giving us in their prices to give us a whole new show of this. Like, I want more stories. Give me another set of stories, please. It's worth it. This show is so good. Like, I would actually tell people to get a Netflix subscription just to watch this show. It's worth it. But yeah, another great episode, another great act. Very much looking forward to the next one. Kind of glad we're going to have a week to let it marinate and see what else pops up. But I enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I will see you in the next one.